As a family of faith, this year you and I have embraced the theme, love your neighbor, no exception. We have talked about it over and over, and we have lived it out. We never would have dreamed it would be living it out in the midst of a pandemic. You know, the pandemic has been such a challenging thing. For 9 months now, we have been wrestling with the coronavirus. And people have decided throughout this 9 months that they were willing to accept different levels of risk. People have reacted in different ways as to how they thought they should respond with the COVID virus. And I'm not here really to discuss that at all. What I really wanted to talk about was the fact that what we know that is a fact is the coronavirus is growing dramatically right now in Oklahoma. The numbers of how many people are getting the coronavirus has really been exploding. I mean, we remember when it used to be 100 or less new cases a day. Now we're having 2,500 to 3,000 cases a day. And most people working at hospitals, epidemiologists, doctors, administrators, the officials at our county health department and our state health department all predict that by the end of December, we'll be having 5,000 to 8,000 new cases of the coronavirus every single day. And again, one of those things that really is just simply a fact is how many people are in the hospital. I remember again when we used to have 100 to 200 people in the hospital, and when it started getting over 200. And that concerned us. And now, well, right now we're having around 1,800 people in the hospital. And that number is growing. Almost 500 in ICU. Again, there's just no question that the amount of people who are being sick and affected by the coronavirus is just continuing to explode. Oklahoma City and Oklahoma County are now considered to be in the red zone. We never imagined that would happen, but it has. And everybody's predicting over the next month it's going to get worse. It seems like the issue is you just don't know how your body's going to react if you get the coronavirus. As I think about it, it seems to me that one of 4 things is going to happen. 1, you could be the person who is asymptomatic, just like our own Reverend Josh Attaway. The only reason he got tested was he had been exposed to someone who had the coronavirus. And when he got tested, he found that he was positive, never had a symptom. They're really the lucky ones, but they're also the dangerous ones. Because unknowingly, and certainly unwillingly, they could be affecting so many people who then may experience far more serious symptoms. The second category winds up being the people who have mild to moderate symptoms, kind of like the Reverend Dave Petit and me. We who have experienced it were sick. We had very real symptoms. They lasted 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then you're fine and healthy and you're back to your regular life. That's where the majority of people seem to fall, is in that category. But then there's a third category. And that's the people when they get the virus, their body just can't shake it. And it goes on for weeks and then months. It starts getting so bad they wind up being in the hospital for additional therapies. They wind up being in the ICU and even on ventilators. It's that category that is just so scary for us all. And then there's a fourth category, and that's the people who lose their life to the coronavirus. And again, there's no question that the number of deaths that we're experiencing in Oklahoma is rising dramatically. Again, the real challenge is you just don't know how your body is going to react if you get the coronavirus. And I know that most of us hope, most of us believe that if we get it, we're going to be in the first 2 categories. But even if we are, we can't deny there are so many people who are in the 3rd and 4th category. And I know that because we love our neighbor, no exception, that if we're lucky enough to be in the category 1 and 2, we don't want to unwillingly put someone in category 3 and 4. To do it and not be intentional and not want it to happen, but it can happen. And it is happening in a significant way right now in our state. Because this is going on, and we're in the red zone now, hospitals are reaching capacity. We know the Lawton Hospital is at 120% capacity. Seeing what's going on, we believe that the most loving thing that we can do is to continue to meet in online worship all the way through the end of December. And then we'll get to January sometime and we'll begin to reevaluate. What that means is we will also lose Christmas Eve. We will not be worshiping in person. We'll be worshiping online and doing all kinds of special things. I think it's what it means to love your neighbor, no exception. We don't do it just because we're thinking about ourselves. We're making this difficult decision because we're thinking about our neighbor. And we don't want to do something that could possibly harm them. We do it because we love each other and we're concerned for one another. So what I believe needs to happen is we need to be doing lots of things to make this year memorable, special. Doing those things that can help us to really have a meaningful Advent and be prepared for Christmas. And so we're going to be doing a number of things. One of the things we've already done is we've been passing out our Advent wreaths. We're trying to put an Advent wreath in a home of every single family to where you can have your Advent wreath. And on Sunday morning in worship, when we're lighting the Advent candle here in the sanctuary, you're lighting that candle at home as well. And you know that you're doing it right along with worship, and you're doing it right along with literally thousands of people across the city and people throughout our country. So we have our Advent candles and our Advent wreath, and I hope you will enjoy those. And when you light that candle, you can feel connected. You know, every year we have an all-church Christmas party, and we try to make it a night of great fun while we conduct the business of the church. And we gather for a wonderful meal here and up in Edmond. Well, this year, of course, we can't do that, but we're still going to have our all-church Christmas party. It's going to be virtual. And we're preparing some gift bags for you for the night. There's going to be 6 different locations all around the city that you can pick them up on Saturday the 12th. It's going to be on Sunday evening at 5:30 on the 13th. And in the gift bags, you're going to get a mug, and you're going to get hot cocoa, and you're going to get a Christmas ornament. An ornament that you can put on your Christmas tree this year and every year following. And when you put that on in the years coming, you're going to think back about the year of 2020, the year of the pandemic, and how we as a family of faith pulled together to love our neighbor, no exception. We're also going to have candles in there for Christmas Eve, so that when you're at home and we're having our Christmas Eve service and we come to the time of lighting candles, you'll be lighting your candle as well. So we're going to have an all-church Christmas party. Every year we gather for a wonderful Christmas concert. Again, we can't do that, but we're going to have a Christmas concert. It's called The Sounds of Christmas. And we're having people who are ready to be, who've been singing, and we're going to be sharing different messages. It will be different, but I believe it can be very meaningful. It's going to be airing on Channel 4 and Channel 43 3 different times. The 13th, the 19th, and then on Christmas Day at noon. We're going to wind up having it on, and you'll be able to celebrate with the sounds of Christmas and beautiful music from your church. And then finally, we wanted to make it to where you can come downtown or up in Edmond and come to the sanctuary or the worship center up in Edmond. They're decorated. They're ready for you. They're ready to celebrate Christmas. And so we're going to have them open throughout the week from 9 to 7. And you can come in, and good chances you'll be here all by yourself. If not, it's pretty easy to social distance with a couple of other people if they might be here. You can come and sit. We're going to have music playing. And you can have your own time just of being alone in the sanctuary to worship and to prepare your heart for the birth of Christ. We're going to have a couple times during the week where we have live music playing on the organ or the piano. There will be some times, and we'll let you know when those are if you want to come and sit and listen to that. But the whole idea is you still can come and be a part of this beautiful place, whether downtown or in Edmond, and be able to get into the Christmas spirit as you prepare your heart for the birth of Christ. You know, the good news is that this is going to come to an end. You may not believe it, but on December the 15th, there are hospitals here in Oklahoma City who expect to start giving the vaccine to the coronavirus. It's that close to beginning. And it's going to take a little while, but it is going to happen. It's going to come to an end, and you and I are going to finally go back to life where we can worship the way we want and get together with friends and hug each other after the service, and life is going to go back to that, and I can hardly wait. But until we do, we have to do the right thing, the responsible thing, the loving thing, and that's to be careful for each other. And so don't go into this Christmas thinking about all the things you've lost or the things we can't do. Make the emotional decision to say, this is going to be unique. I don't expect to ever live through a pandemic again. This is going to be unique. And we're going to go through this year at Christmas time, and we're going to make it meaningful and special and significant. We can do this. This can be a wonderful Christmas. It just needs to be different than what we've done before. And we need to wrap our mind around that. It's going to be a time of sharing our love. And it's going to be a time of preparing our hearts for the birth of Christ. You see, whether we're in a pandemic or not, Christ is born. And this year, I can assure you, on Christmas, Christ will come. And so will a new year. Thank you, God. I hope you have a very meaningful and Merry Christmas.